The Zoom stuff for us, but- Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to call to order this public meeting of the Board of Johnson County Commissioners on this 28th day of February 2022 at 10 o'clock a.m. Please pray with us if you would care to, and we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner West.
Would you bow with me for a moment of prayer? Dear Heavenly Father, we do come to you today with so grateful hearts, and being able to live in a wonderful country and a free country like we enjoy here in America. But dear Lord, I just pray that you'd be with the people over in Ukraine as they suffer through the aggressions of the Russians this day. Be with them, Lord. Help them come to the conclusion that that will be positive for the people over there. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Of opening of sealed bids for the 2022 concrete street overlay project.
First bid is from Harding Group of Indianapolis. Harding's bid is $1,220,352.03. 1,220,352.03. Next bid is from Baumgartner and Company Asphalt Services from Fishers. Baumgartner bids $1,247,989.85. 1,247,989.85. Next is from All Star Paving from Seymour, Indiana. All Stars bid is $1,369,761.70. 1,369,761.70. Not on this thing. Okay. Last is from Milestone Contractors out of Columbus. Milestone's bid is $1,618,212.85. 1,618,212.85.
I'd motion to give them to Luke and Daniel to review and come back to our next meeting with who the selection is.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Can we get his volume up just a little bit somehow? If,
For once, we can't hear him.
yeah. We're working on it, Commissioner.
Yeah.
Assist Indiana and Franklin College approval to use county property for Take Back the Night event on April 14th. Is there anyone here
Anybody
to
here?
speak for that?
Hi, I'm Sarah Kinder. I am.
There she is.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was logged in. I was trying to go into a meeting in Google Meets. I don't know what happened. So I'm here now.
Tell us about it.
Okay, so Take Back the Night is an event. We've done this 2 years in the past. 4 years, I believe 2 of the past 4 years we've done this. So it's an event to recognize sexual violence specifically against women, but now has kind of been recognized for all parties. So it's an event that is traditionally held on college campuses across the nation. Like I said, we have held it 2 years in the last 4, and we plan on having a rally at our campus in the Student Center atrium. Sheriff Burgess is going to speak and a few others, and then we will march to, plan to march to the courthouse. We will stay on the south side if that's what is best. We could also stay on the east side. We'll just be there honestly for probably a total of 20 minutes or so, and then would march back to campus along is that Monroe on the back side of the courthouse. That's where we would march back to campus. So
Is there any reason that this can't be kept on the sidewalk around the courthouse instead of getting on the courthouse property, which would save you a lot of hassle as far as getting waivers and certificates, insurance and all that? As long as you stayed on the sidewalk, then that wouldn't be necessary because those are public.
I think that would probably be fine. In the past, I wasn't the one that came here to the commissioners meeting for this purpose. It was someone from Assist that did. And I don't believe that we had certificates or anything like that. And the steps were used just as someone to kind of stand up there to be able to speak, to be able to kind of have.
Right. If you go onto the property, you'll have to provide a waiver of liability and an insurance certificate to the commissioners. Otherwise, you wouldn't be allowed to be on the property once you get off the sidewalk. And as long as you're willing to do that, then that would just have to be taken care of prior to the event starting.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, sorry, I was hearing someone else in the call and I was thinking that was pertinent to this. So what you're asking is, are we able to just stay on the sidewalk on the east end or on the south end, or either?
Either way, as long as you're on the sidewalk, those are public and for public access. If you go onto the courthouse lawn or property up to the steps, then you would actually be on the courthouse property. At that point, you would have to have the certificates and the waiver,
Okay.
which is
So I know,
required of anyone that uses it.
okay, so in the past, students that we have had that have attended, because we've had food there in the past, and I think we're planning to have that again this year. So people have like kind of sat down around the steps area. So that's something you're saying would not be allowed to happen. No one could.
It shouldn't have been, it shouldn't have happened without a certificate of liability or a waiver for an organized, basically an organized group.
Well, let's just do this.
Okay.
If you generally approve the concept of the event, either staying on the sidewalk or being on the property with the correct paperwork. Go ahead and do that, and then I'll get in touch with her later and we'll
Okay.
sort it out.
Did you understand that?
I did, yes.
And then that way you and Sheena can work out all the legalities if necessary.
Okay, that'd be great. Just for, just to clarify, so is this for approval on the east end of the courthouse or on the south end?
It would be for either one, once we have
Okay.
the certificates and the waivers, or you use the sidewalks, wouldn't matter which side.
Okay, and the parking lot on the south side of the courthouse, that is part of the courthouse private property, is that correct?
Yes, that would be, yeah, we just had an incident in that parking lot actually. So yes, you would have to have the certificate of liability and the waiver at that point, or certificate of insurance and waiver.
Okay, all right, I will get in
Again, you can
contact.
work all that out with Sheena and you guys figure out what's the best. She'll make contact with you on that.
Okay, great, thank you, Sheena.
Yeah. I'm gonna move to approve, I'll say pending legal.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. At this point in time, we got Hensley Fire Protection District, and we need to open a public meeting and public hearing for the meeting. And if there's anyone of the public that would like to speak once this is started and entertained or brought forward, then we can go from there. But if someone wants to bring this forward, would be great.
They have the PowerPoint. I think, did Jeff.
What is it on the flash drive?
House Bill 1065, yeah, it should be the PowerPoint.
Good morning. For the record, my name's Larry Jesse. I'm the attorney for the Hensley Fire District Board. I have our president of the board here, as well as our financial advisor, as well as two members of the Trafalgar Fire Department. I would advise the board that we had a public hearing on both matters on January 26th, and then we published an adoption of those resolutions thereafter. So I'm probably the least informed person this morning on this. And I'm going to turn it over then to our financial advisor, Jeff Peters, who I'm sure you're familiar with, to proceed. And then the fire department would like to make a presentation after that.
Gentlemen, if you would just keep it as Reader Digest goable as possible.
So you
We got-
guys,
we
you
got a
guys
lot
always
going
do
on.
that when the accountants come out.
Yeah, we do it with Luke Maston too, the highway director. Just so.
Thumbnail version is, as you're well aware, we've had a historical issue of the cost of fire protection and EMS outpacing the growth of the maximum levy. Every few years, the legislature puts forward another effort to help them combat that. The one in 2020 was to raise tax rates based on growth in assessed value or growth in population beyond a certain amount. So the calculations for Hensley, it's looking at potentially they could have about a 6.5 cent rate increase, which budget wise would increase their budget both in the next year and the following year with the increase of local income tax, about $330,000. They would like to do that for operations. They would also today like to increase their cumulative building and equipment fund rate to its statutory maximum, which is 3 1/3 cents, which is an increase of just under a penny. That would yield them about $45,000 a year toward capital within the next couple of years. And the fire department will speak to that. We also looked at the tax impacts for this. The fire district board wanted to see what did that look like for a median homestead in their taxing district. A median homestead down there of 141,773 would likely see an increase of $44.03. They currently pay about $785 in total property tax for the year, which is $72 of that goes to the fire district. They also looked at some examples of 3 times the mortgaged homestead, 100-acre property, and a non-homestead lake property. All of that, I believe, has been provided to you in an executive summary. And just to give a little bit of perspective for the other fire districts in the county, Buttersville and White River are about 32 to 33 cents. Hensley is currently at just above 11 cents. Amity's about 12.5, Nineveh's about 15, and Needham's about 16. And the last point is, well, 2 quick points for the county and looking at overall impact to the other units of government. Because these are non-debt levies, they will impact the income tax distribution in future years to the other units of government. That impact we anticipate would be about $98,000 for the county in whole. The county distribution is close to $50 million a year, so we view that as not material to the other units of government. They won't miss that incremental amount. And we looked at circuit breaker impacts for that taxing district. We anticipate those to be less than about $1,700 for the year of this tax increase. Again, that should not cause any problems with the other units of government. And I'd be happy to answer any questions on that side.
I don't have.
I would have a question there. little over 300,000 that you said that the increase would generate. What percentage of your overall revenue would that amount to?
I don't know if your budget today is approximately how much?
The contract budget.
No, the budget for the fire district. I think it's gonna pretty much double their budget. Did we talk about that before? Yeah, I think it'll pretty much be 100% increase. And the fire department's gonna walk you through what benefit that's gonna provide.
Now, even though that you mentioned that that amount, the amount that would affect the county is incremental, and I understand that in the grand scheme of things, when you're looking at a $50 million overall annual budget projection. However, 100% increase is substantial for the citizens down there. So I'll let you go ahead and tell us how you're going to use those funds before I comment any further.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
stepping away.
I'm Andy Seasting. I'm one of the officers with the fire department. This is Mark Dunn, our chief. We sent you a PowerPoint. If you go to page 3 of the PowerPoint, this is where we're talking about our capital cumulative fund of maxing out to 3 1/3%. The reason we're needing this is the tanker we currently have now is a 2004. It's experiencing some electrical issues and we're going to need to replace it. We started the committee. We're meeting regularly to try to get the specs drawn up for that. Our extrication equipment, we haven't purchased it in over 15 years and it's getting aged. We're going to have some new gear if we get the new part-time staffing, radios, computer equipment, and we're going to have some air packs. Indianapolis Fire Department bought new air packs last year. We were able to get some of those air packs from them to get us by, but they got rid of them for a reason, and we're starting to have some issues with the ones that they had given us, so we're going to have to buy some air packs. What we did is, we have a 2002 engine. We weren't having any issues with this truck at all, so we decided last year to spend roughly $60,000, and we refreshed it in order to get us by rather than spending $600,000 on a new engine. We thought that was better money spent with us. And then we've got a 1999 brush truck that at some point in time we're going to have to see about putting a chassis under. The $330,000 that Mr. West was asking why we need it. It breaks down to we've got to put part-time staffing on the fire station. We're at an aged and volunteer staff that is getting less and less dependent to be able to make runs. What we'll do, this staffing, we'll have 2 part-time employees 24 hours a day, and then 1 part-time employee 12 hours during the day. We seem to have, that's when our toughest time to get the truck out the doors during the day. We rely on volunteers for the third at the night and to get the rest of the equipment out depending on the run. This will help. The main thing is just to help our staffing from the volunteer service. We are, like I said, we're becoming aged, and with 500 runs a year now that we have had last year, it's getting harder for guys to make the runs. So that's why we are planning on what we're going to do with the increase in our tax levy is going to be pure staffing. So like I said, we have some differences through there of response times from NFPA and some other stuff. And then we have where we had calls where it's actually made a difference when we had people on station versus when we had home response. And I'm sure you guys have seen that and have studied it. So, being a fully volunteer department's rewarding, but it's we don't have a bunch of people knocking down our doors to come volunteer anymore. And it's not just us, it's all the departments. So We appreciate your time. Do you have any questions for us?
Do you currently have unpaid staff?
No, we do not.
or On call at all?
We run, starting in 2019, we started a stipend program. Basically, guys will come in from kind of after they put the kids to sleep, after they get done with work, 8 P to 6 A, and it's $25 a night.
Okay, but so you do have a stipend at this point?
Yeah, but it's only covered 2 days a week.
Right.
Consistently, it's 2 days a week.
Okay, thank you, sir. Go ahead, Ron. I think I heard you.
Yeah, I was just going to say in regard to his comments there that I thought I understood him to say that the whole 330 was going to be used for staffing. So they're
Yeah.
talking two part-time people, 24 hours, one part-time, 12 hours, and that equates to 330,000 a year?
With the time we pay taxes and everything on it, yes, that's what it equates to.
Okay. So your reference in your beginning to all of your equipment needs, you were make a comment on that to support the cum cap rate? Is that how I should take that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from commissioners?
Have you guys ran a different scenario without taking the tax levy to the max?
Yeah, what's happened, the reason we got to take it to the max, sir, is we're having a hard time, all the departments in the county are having a hard time getting volunteer staff. And that's the only way, taking it to the max, that we're gonna be able to get, we feel at the rate that we're gonna be able to pay to get people to do it.
What rate is that?
333.
No, what rate is that you're going to be paying?
Talking hourly, that's hourly figured at $15.
$15.
$15 an hour?
Well, in light of the overall employment situation or ability to hire people, I can surely understand their problem there. And obviously, we want the people that they're servicing to be safe. It is substantial, and I'm a little bit troubled by that, but I would go ahead and move to approve.
We need to close the public hearing first, don't
We'll
we?
need to ask if anybody else.
Yeah, could stand by with that, Commissioner West,
Okay.
just for a
Yeah.
moment, please. Is there anyone of the public that has any statement they want to make or come forward to the kiosk or microphone? Seeing none at this point, I will now close the public hearing portion of this, and now I can entertain your motion, Commissioner West.
As I stated before, I'm still troubled with the 100% increase in the rate, but I do understand their need in trying to hire people, so I would move to approve.
I'll second.
The motion is second, and I do want to say, and I agree with Commissioner West, that's a big increase
Yeah.
for the citizens down in the area that I live, but I also understand the need for the fire department and emergency services down there. And I will state at this point in time, Trafalgar does a very, very good job of getting out on the calls. They respond quickly, even with the issues that you're having with volunteer help. So I want to personally thank you guys. I know you do a good job. We've talked about this before. And you also help other areas of the community besides in your area. So I appreciate that. And I feel like this hopefully will help you guys get even better at what you do and quicker getting out the door. So I do appreciate all you guys do down there. With that said, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
You want, was he moving on A and B or just A? Just for clarification.
You were moving on both A and B, were you not, Commissioner?
I was, yeah,
I assume
both
you
the
were.
cum cap and the other rate.
That's fine. Just want to make sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Approval of consent to digitize records with Family Search. Pending legal review.
Well, and Trina's here, and it also looks like John DeYoung and another person from Family Search are on Zoom if you have particular questions about the project.
Any questions?
Public speaking.
As she's coming forward. Do you have any questions, Commissioner West?
I'm just, obviously I didn't have my iPad down here, so I'm not real familiar with what Family Search is.
So can somebody,
Would you like me to say something or?
if you don't
Trina?
mind, that would be, sir, just
Sure.
state your name, please, if you would.
Yes, so I'm John DeYoung. I'm responsible for working with folks in Indiana and other states throughout the United States. Rob Jackson, who you also, I think, see in the screen, works with me. And then Chuck Bailey is a Family Search local volunteer. Just for background, and I think I can share my screen here. It might be helpful to provide some more information, Commissioner West, if that's okay with you. Family Search is a, oh, it's disabled. Okay. So Family Search is a family history organization. We've been working to digitize, actually microfilm and digitize records throughout the United States and throughout the world since 1938. We have about 2.4 million rolls of microfilm. Many of those were from Indiana counties, where we started a project in 1980 to digitize marriage records and probate records in many of the counties. At that time, we stopped digitizing at certain dates because we had some cutoff dates that we were working with. And just a few years ago, we were working with Chandler Leidy, who is the state archivist, as you probably know, to update the collection that we have of marriage records to the present. There's a lot of interest in genealogy and family history, not only in Indiana, but throughout the United States and throughout the world. In fact, this week, we're having a conference of genealogists and family history people who are interested in that. It's called Family Search, or excuse me, it's called Roots Tech. And we have over 500,000 people globally who are signed up to attend this conference online. Almost 200,000 of those are in the United States. So there's a great deal of interest in finding out more about families. Johnson County is one of the counties that we do not have the marriage records or the probate records digitized yet. And the proposal here is to digitize these. We do this work for free. We often use volunteers to do the work. They're typically retired couples that desire to give back to the community, and they want to help to make records more broadly available. The website, familysearch.org, is a freely available website. You can sign up for free. You can access the images for free. And we also have a one family, world family tree that people can enter their family names into. And so it becomes a joint activity with people throughout the world as they connect with their family in this one big giant family tree. So that's a little bit of background for Family Search. We estimate that the project that we'd like to embark on will probably take about a year. Based on the number of images that we're estimating, we think it's about 400,000 images. We would carefully prepare the probate estate case files by unfolding them and flattening them, and then imaging each of the documents or the slips of paper. So oftentimes there are receipts and things that are also valuable to identify different people in the family. We would do both sides, and so there's quite a bit of work that's done there. The marriage records are smaller, obviously, because of the number of marriages, et cetera. And so that's the nature of the project. We've been speaking with folks locally, also trying to determine where is the best location to do this work. One thought is to do it in the museum. We bring the camera in. When we're all finished with this project, we would give digital copies to the county if you would like to have them. We will also share a copy with the state. We've been working with the state so that ultimately they would have an entire collection of all of the marriage records that have been microfilmed and digitized throughout the entire state of Indiana. And we currently have about 19 counties that have signed up to this project. Just before COVID, we gave presentations to the county clerks, the circuit court clerks. And so at that time, about 19 of them signed up. Then we had COVID hit. Production stopped because the volunteers, because they're retired folks, needed to go back home again. But now production has started up again. And so we're anxious to get going and to start with the counties that we have not yet signed up. So that's, I think, basically the background. Happy to entertain any questions.
Hey, John, I picked up on two key words there in your explanation, one being free, the other being volunteers. But to archive all of these, I mean, there has to be some costs involved. How do you fund those costs?
That's a very good question. So Family Search is an organization that's sponsored by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We have a vault here in the mountains in Salt Lake City, Utah, that it's called the Granite Mountain Records Vault. We keep these 2.4 million, it's actually built into a mountain. We keep the 2.4 million rolls of microfilm that we imaged since 1938 in that vault. We also have a dark archive there, so it's not connected to the internet, to keep all the digital images. They're kept in a TIFF format. That's a little bit technical. We use a JPEG format to show the images on our website. We work very closely with the National Archives. We use their standards. I actually am personally responsible for working with them and have done a number of projects with them over the last 10 years. And so the cost is borne by really the free will gifts and offerings of people who are either members of our church or who are not members of the church, but who have a keen interest in supporting this genealogy and family history effort. So that's why it's lower cost in terms of just manpower because of the volunteers that do the work. And then also the costs are subsidized by folks that are helping to fund it.
So you don't market any of the information you digitize?
That's correct. It's all available for free. We do work with outside partners. For example, in Indiana, we have worked with Ancestry.com, which is a commercial organization you may or may not be familiar with. They, some years back, did a project to digitize the marriage certificates from about 1963 to the present for each of the counties. They made an agreement with the counties and with the state registrar. And also at that time, Governor Pence was the governor at the time. And so we work very closely with Ancestry also to help to provide them a copy as they provide us copies. And so we make it all available for free. And then the ultimate idea is that there will be an entire state worth of data of these records available for free on our website and enable people to find their families.
And the information that we provide for you to digitize, you keep those originals?
We do not. So the originals are yours. All we do is take pictures. And when we're finished with the project, all of the paperwork goes back into your files, wherever you store them or keep them.
No, thank you. It was a good explanation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Entertain a motion?
Trina, do you guys have room for them to do this over at the museum?
Yes, we'd be able, David Pfeiffer, museum. We would have room in our genealogy library for them to set up. We've got a couple large tables and we've got other projects like that.
And I guess in asking that question too, is what are the chances that any documents would be destroyed or lost? None,
I mean,
maybe?
I would hope.
Unlikely.
The volunteers are well trained. We've got the material that's at the museum already, in the library. So it would just be a matter of taking off the shelf, photographing it,
Okay.
right there. So.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I guess the question for Trina is this something you want to do, Trina?
Trina McLaughlin, clerk. Yes, I think it's great, especially for the marriage records. Of course, they can't get certified copies from these records. It's just more for genealogy purposes.
Ready for a motion?
I would entertain one. Yes, sir.
I move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
It's pending.
Pending legal. Most of what we're doing today is pending.
Yeah.
Pending legal. Pending legal.
pending legal.
We're gonna solve that problem in the second. half
We're
of the
fine.
meeting.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll hesitate, Commissioner. Apologize for that. Thank you, Trina, David. And Mr.
Thank you.
Young, those up there.
Yes. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. We look forward to getting started.
Thank you. Maintenance approval of primary grounds contract pending legal review.
Morning, Jason Miller, Maintenance Department. I'm here to see if I can a contract approved with primary grounds to treat our spruce trees that we've had planted for fertilization, insecticide, and fungicide.
Will it work? I've lost a lot of spruce trees at my house.
I'm hoping it will. The total cost is $877.50 for the year.
The arborist doing it.
Yes, arborist is doing it.
I guess it's worth a shot, see if it saves them.
I think we've
We've
been kind of successful in helping these along with this same company before, have we not?
We have.
Yeah.
They're wanting a contract this year.
Yeah. Move to approve pending legal.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Pending legal. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Jason. Request to attend whatever, Etnire Equipment Training Seminar, Etnire? Ethel?
Etnire.
Etnire,
Correct.
Yes.
and then a couple other things, Luke.
Luke Maston, Highway Supervisor. Yes, first item is a request for up to 2 of our mechanics to attend an upcoming training seminar in Illinois. This is specifically for training on our asphalt distributor and our chip spreader, which are pretty niche pieces of equipment. And there are not training opportunities similar to this nearby. We actually wanted to do this for a couple of years, but unfortunately the conference had been canceled the last 2 years.
Where in Illinois?
Oregon.
Illinois, which is west of Chicago, west or southwest of Chicago.
A ways away from Chicago.
Pretty far.
Okay, I just didn't know whether we need to send security with you or not.
I think it's far enough away. There are not a lot of lodging opportunities.
Come on, Sheriff. Play along, will you?
Move to approve. Is this pending legal? I'm just asking. There's no red. No, I move to approve. Clean.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Rock the Block special event permit and Wine It to Line special event permit. Can we do these both at once?
It's fine with me.
Let's do it.
I'm going to move to approve. These 2 have been very, very good to the community and do a fine job. And they always meet all the requirements we put forth. So I don't see any reason why not to approve.
No, we've not heard of any issues or complaints with either of these events in the last several years.
They've done a good job.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Appointment of Assistant County Attorney pending legal.
Pending legal, yeah.
This is already approved by legal.
Is that a conflict of interest if the assistant attorney reviews his own contract?
Yeah, we'll have to hire this gentleman, this attorney, so he can check it out legally to make sure that Mr. Adam Gadberry, who starts March 7th, replacing our previous Zach Lang, which I miss dearly. Very much needed. So welcome aboard. Is Adam here by any chance?
No, I
Okay.
didn't tell him. Just in case, things got weird.
Crazy like they did. Anyway, welcome aboard, Adam.
You want to make that formal?
Yeah, move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion second. Any further?
I was caught up on the legal aspect. So
Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Appointment of interim community corrections director, Steve Commode. I
Come on
still
up and talk to us. You're the next contestant.
see, that's what you get for showing up.
That's all right. Quite all right. Steve Promote, interim director pending approval.
Welcome aboard, Steve, and I hope, and I know that you'll be successful in moving us forward in the direction that we need to go to make this community corrections the best it can be. And I appreciate you stepping up to fulfill that.
I've been neck deep in this and I appreciate what Steve and Angela have said in the back
Yes,
has
Angela.
done with this. It's been a tough journey. We're here. Let's make the best of it.
Water under the bridge. Let's move forward, keep the boat going.
Okay. I appreciate you guys' effort on all this. So look forward to the new direction. So I move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Angela. Approval of agreement between owner and architect with Lancer BB LLC Drake Road Project pending legal review. And I do want to make a note here that these will also be approved pending council approval because
Right,
it's hard for us to approve them when there's no money.
you're right. That's correct.
To sign them, but that is pending the council approval also. You want to, can we do both of those at the same time?
You want.
Since they're both on the same project, this
They're both pending legal.
yeah, they're both pending legal and pending council, so approval of the agreement between owner and architect with Lancer and BB on Drake Road and approval of Crossroad Engineers PC fee proposal for environmental services on the Drake Road project, which will all be funded at this point in time through ARPA funds, just so, to make a note of that. So entertain a motion
To approve, sir.
Second.
Have a motion and second pending legal. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of use of virtual primary care.
Am I going to field that one?
Is there any, questions on that one? Ron, do you have anything on that one? Is this not through our provider?
No, I've got no questions.
I'm going to ask some questions. Maybe somebody can answer these. Is this just I guess, virtual option
I think so.
that it's just opening up through Anthem?
Yeah, it's not
Well,
very clear.
There we go. We got one taker.
Yep. You referencing me?
No, Pam. Amber.
Oh, okay.
Johnson County Auditor. I'm assuming this is just another option that's opened up through our carrier. I do recall glancing at an email last week, but I will look into it and see if it's anything different than that. I think it's just something that wasn't included originally that they now have discovered is available to us.
Okay.
Which
That's
is
what it was.
kind of what I'm seeing here.
Yeah.
It's kind of vague in some areas, but if it's just an option that the enrollees can use, and I have no issue with it.
If that's any different than that, I'll let you know once I review
Can we
it.
do that pending?
Auditors approve.
Pending-
Well, just
It's
approve it the
pending.
way it's been presented, and
If there's any issue,
if there's a
then we'll hear about it.
substantive
Okay.
difference, then Pam will let you know.
Yep.
Okay. I think
Sounds
Ron
good.
will get with it's got LHD in here too, Ron.
Yeah.
Talking about them working with them and contacting and so.
And LHD is recommending it, so.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know, virtual, when you put the word virtual in there, it always makes me a little bit concerned. I had a annual checkup virtually. I don't know how effective some of that really is. And then I'm also concerned that on these virtual things, that might be a convenient factor that's overutilized. I don't know, but if it's something, it's an option, I guess we can look at it as we go forward.
Yeah, and I guess it probably what
can be
whoever's
undone.
comfortable with.
Yeah, it can be reversed.
And I can get
If it's
specific
a mess.
details and send you.
Because I assume if you don't want to do it virtually, you don't have to. That would be that there's an option. To me, it would be kind of like the old mooning process driving down the road. If it wasn't a choice. Anyway,
All right.
I'm going to
I'm
move-
sorry.
Move to approve pending all that.
That's what went through my head, Ron. I apologize.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we need a 67 Chevy. Anyway. New and old business, just a note of, I guess, the record keeping,
Right.
the Bob Galinsky as the new fleet director was actually effective on 2/25, not 2/24 as we stated.
Correct.
Claims and credit card.
I haven't been able to review them, so I'm going to leave that up to Kevin to point out all of the misspent dollars.
I had a couple of questions.
Brian, I know he had a couple of questions. I just, there's.
I'm playing Commissioner West here for a minute, because I thought he'd be all over this. I just noticed that and I just put it out there, Commissioner, so you know, the coroner has purchased some uniforms and things, but also some fleece pullovers, which I don't know why we have to have fleece pullovers, but that's just me. In trying to save money, a jacket and an ID would suffice. Anyway, just that came to mind, and since Commissioner West wasn't here, I thought I'd bring that up. And then Health Department purchased a space heater, and I just didn't know exactly if that was for an office space or if that's for something like one of your exterior things. She doesn't know, because just policy wise by handbook, we don't provide heaters, personal heaters for people in offices and things. So I had to bring that forward. Sorry.
Betsy Swearingen, Director of the Health Department. No, I can tell you that it would not have been purchased for an employee at the office. So my guess is that it's for the testing site.
One of the outside
When
testing
where
sites.
where it's chilly. in
Yeah,
the
there was a
entryway.
hanging unit heater too, so I assumed that probably was of the same thing. So, okay, I just wanted to clarify.
Right, and just on a side note, we will be vacating Compass Park before the 31st of March.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, that's the only questions I had, Commissioner.
No, I just noticed the defense attorney's bills were extremely high this month, but there's nothing we can do about that.
No.
So-
No.
So I'm going to move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The commissioner minutes have been stricken. We do not have those, so we will get those at the next meeting, I assume. I know we have some public comment. Kimberly Harris, Attorney General Outreach Representative, are you here? If you want to come forward.
Take too much of your time. I just wanted to stop by and introduce myself today. I am Kim Harris, and I am from the Office of Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita. I just wanted to say I live here in Johnson County, so it's very exciting for me to be able to be here with you guys today. On behalf of the Attorney General's office, I'm going to leave some cards. So if you guys have any issues, we are doing a ton of consumer complaints. Consumer Protection Week is coming up. We also do unclaimed property as well, but not limited to. We also do appeals, advisories. There's 8 different divisions in our office. So again, I just wanted to introduce myself, say hi. And I have some books for you from the office as well, and I'll leave those when I leave.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And yes, and you guys are a very busy office. I do know that.
Extremely.
Yes, so I appreciate all you do. I
You're
really
very
do.
welcome.
Thank you very much.
I'll be reaching out to them on the consumer aspect of it. I've mentioned in our meetings before that I think it's just an atrocity the way these monopolized providers ignore their customers, and the customer has little or no recourse. You've got, in my case, I've got CenturyLink as my telephone and internet provider. You know, but without another option, the least they could do is answer the doggone phone if you try to call them and not hang up on you, put you on hold for 20 minutes and then disconnect you. You got the same thing. I had an issue with American Water, can't get anybody, and so on and so forth. And if there needs to be some repercussion, if they're going to be the only utility provider, then by gosh, the customer should have some recourse against them, at least get some decent damn service. It's terrible. Thank you. I can't hear.
She said it's amazing what a phone call from the Attorney General's office will do. So maybe she's saying she might make a phone call, or somebody might make a phone call on that. But thank you very much, ma'am. Appreciate that.
Could that be from trying to get the 911 center for over a year and a half, get the line changed? To get somebody to
Yeah,
answer?
so we got some of that.
True, Sheriff. Very true.
Yeah.
Year and a half.
AT&T. if we could get them on the list as well.
So
Yeah,
a little upset with them there for a while.
it's a shame, you know, you think that the money you pay, it would be better service than that, but anyway, we'll go from there. Thank you very much. Yeah. Kathleen Ratcliffe, Upstream Preventions, Inc. And this is in regard to a letter of support.
Yes, Kathleen Ratcliffe, Executive Director of Upstream Prevention. You all have seen my face before, but usually talking about suicide prevention. Upstream overall, we focus on systems level changes to prevent substance misuse, as well as positive mental health promotion, suicide prevention. We are currently working on a bit of a time crunch, but working on a grant application to the Division of Mental Health and Addiction in Indiana. We are serving as kind of the community convener. We're pulling together a whole bunch of different partners, including, I don't know if Angela's still here, our problem solving courts, our health department, several treatment providers, several other nonprofits like Reach for Youth, Recover Out Loud. We've got United Way in as well. We came together, had a brainstorming dreaming session about what are our gaps in the system of, you know, continuum of care for mental health as well as substance use treatment, and tried to plug some of those gaps with this application. So what we're asking for is just a general letter of support that you all would support funds coming into the county. It is too early, I know, to make decisions on some of the ARPA funds as well as the opioid national settlement funds, but with the hope that we've got a lot of good people at the table, that as those decisions get made, that you all will make a commitment to listen to our thoughts. We do get priority points if we would have had a match, but it's too early to make some of those decisions. So what we're looking for is that letter of support that says you all support funds coming in, as well as a commitment to listen as those funds get distributed. It won't count as priority points for a match, but it'll maybe get us a half a step closer towards that.
I didn't, in your reference to the people that you're working with, I didn't hear adult and child mental health mentioned. Are you working with them at all in this regard?
We invited them to our first big brainstorming session, but by the time they turned around and got us some details, we had already moved pretty far along. The way our proposal is structured is we will have some mental health providers on board that got us some of the documents early, but we have the ability to bring new partners on. We may not have funds for them depending on how our budget shakes out if we're funded, but it is not meant to be a closed system by any means. One of Upstream's values is collaborative and inclusive partnerships. And so one of the things that we are hoping is that we will be able to expand out if we're funded and have that support. So as of right now, no. In the future, very likely, possibly.
Oh, good.
Hi, Ron, it's Betsy from the Health Department. Just on a side note with that, Adult and Child is actively pursuing this grant on their own.
Okay, thank you.
I guess my question is do you actually provide services, or are you a marketing basis for the people that provide the services?
So Upstream itself, we focus on prevention. So we have grants that support prevention programming in schools. We do community mental health training, skill-based trainings. We support a couple of different community coalitions. So we are a nonprofit that provides services, but not the treatment services that this is looking for. So we do almost exclusively prevention and harm reduction work. So one of the reasons why we were chosen for this is that we're not a provider, and so therefore we were seen as that neutral party that could bring people together and share the funds out to providers in an unbiased manner.
So you are basically you bring everything together. You're basically a marketing strategy for the grants and things. You get those grants and things to these people that provide the services.
In this case, yes.
Okay.
So there are several grants that we hold and do ourselves. So some of the QPR trainings or mental health first aid trainings, if you've seen those. And then, yeah, the rest of it, we have an ECHO grant through the state where we are, again, serving as that community convener, hiring some of the staff, but then using community input to actually carry out the activities.
I just happened to look up on your 2019, and I noticed there was only one paid employee, so I was wondering how.
We have grown quite a bit. In 2019, we did have one full-time staff, and I think we had 2 part-time staff. I was one of the part-time staff then, and we are blessed enough that in the pandemic, we grew exponentially, almost, it seems like. So we're currently at 8 staff. We've got 6 full-time staff to oversee our various grants and programs, and then we've got 2 part-time staff as well. We were one of those nonprofits that actually grew during the pandemic, partially because of additional funds that came in separate from pandemic, COVID relief and some of that. We had some that we were just waiting on that popped in 2020 as well.
Betsy, I know there's a lot of, is there anybody that we need to find to wrangle all this together? I mean, we're working on a large project with you on the mental health aspect. I just don't want to see this thing spurt off and everybody competing against each other.
Yeah, this is not a splinter of what we're trying to do. This is actually an organization that can help those of us that don't have the time or the resources or the expertise to write for this and to corral all the cats together to be able to provide what we need to provide. And each of us can take a small portion of it and work together. And it's really just a good bonding within the community. It's something that we need.
All right. I would move to approve our letter of support.
Thank you. Yeah. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public?
I got one
comment?
public comment.
Okay.
I'm glad to see 3 council members present at our commissioner meeting. This is the first time, I think, in all the years I've been here, I've seen more than one. So I would like to thank you guys for coming out in the day and listening to us.
I'm always on Zoom.
Okay. Well, I don't always know that.
I just don't put my face up there when I'm on Zoom.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Keep up the good work.
Too many runs.
Yeah,
that's true. Especially one that's eating when he's on the camera. He was having breakfast the other day or something. I don't know what he was having. He had a muffin caught in his teeth. Any other? I went to the moon thing, so might as well go to that, I guess. Anyway, any other public comment? Otherwise,
the best part about these Zoom meetings, I don't have to put a tie on.
Well, I get that too.
You could.
Are you going to be Zooming the RDC meeting?
I plan on it. We have an appointment at the mobile phone store, and sometimes that takes a little longer than you anticipate, but I plan on being here 4:30.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll be Zooming in also. So. Okay. Just for record, any motion?
To adjourn, sir.
Second.
A motion and second, we're adjourned. Thank you.
See you guys. I gotta get outside.
Have
It's
fun.
starting to warm up. It's 78.
Oh, we're supposed to be 60 here tomorrow.